Yo, what is up, you guys? It's your boy Simeon here, or Joel, with a banger today. Today, we're gonna play Kenshi, and this is the ultimate definitive guide on how to play Kenshi, aka one of the most hated characters in this game. But, you know, I played Kenshi since day one of this game's release, and, I thought it'd be nice to show you what we all know and what we know about Kenshi so far as of up until this point. Mortal Kombat has released a definitive edition, meaning their game's life cycle is most likely over. Kenshi is a puppet character, meaning he controls two characters at once, which is Sento, and then there's Kenshi himself. We're going to go over some stuff, starting with his strings, aka, here's everything. Before we start, here's everything that's going to be on screen, controller, binds, everything wise. So, we're going to go by 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is a popular, just term for just these kind of guys that just people use throughout video games or, just certain fighting games. Obviously, for PlayStation or Xbox, it would be square or X for 1. And then for PlayStation and Xbox, it will be triangle or Y for 2. And then X or A for 3. And then circle or B for 4. But I'll also list it all on the screen. Alright, now let's get started. Starting with the strings today. We're going to go over some strings. So forward 2-2 and forward 2-2-2, which is a launch but cannot be comboed afterwards. There's forward 2-2 right here, which can also be used to cancel into special. After this, you can't cancel into special after doing it 3 times. There's even this right here. It's a triple mid as well. Very helpful. Very good for shimmying people, or if you want distance, because this does cover a good amount of space for neutral. Same with the next string, 1-4-1, which would be this string right here. It's a really popular string for Kenshi mains because of the second move being a low, which catches people off guard. But yeah, this is a fast string because, well, it's 7 frames on startup just to start it, but also it's a high move, so they can be microducked or anything like that. There's also the 2-1-2 string, which is a very underused move by Kenshi mains, but it's very good because the third move can either be an overhead or, depending on range, because this can go very far, can be a mid as well. It can go really far, but also a high mid kind of move. Another string will be 4-4, which recently got buffed, which gave Kenshi the overhead bounce now, which can be comboed with the certain combo, like, Kameo, ambush Kameo, like Movado, Scorpion. There's a bunch of cameos you can use to extend the combo with that. Same with stand 3. Stand 3 is now a higher bounce, which is still not that useful. I don't see much use out of it, but it goes higher now. Back 2-2 is an incredibly good move as well because it's a mid. It's a really fast startup or a very quick move that just pulls out instantly, but also has good range too. It catches people off guard a lot. With the second move also being an overhead move, which now recently got buffed into a overhead bounce, just like how I said 4-4, which can be comboed with ambush cameos. Kenshi also has a really good movement. He got fast speeds, just like Johnny Cage. Good for just good for backing up, whiffing, which is also the best part about this string because, if you want to back up, you can catch him off guard with the back 2. Now this is Sento stance, aka the stance you get upon calling out Ancestor Spirit, aka Sento, which once upon banishing the Ancestor, you will be stuck with Sento stance Kenshi. Now, this version of Kenshi is a different set of moves, which is, in my opinion, some of the best move sets Kenshi can have. Starting with 1-2-2, very good string. It's a fast startup, 7 frames of startup, and also good for very safe on block. There's also 4-2 and 4-2-1. It's a overhead. The second hit right here is an overhead, which is a very good overhead. Mostly good for combo extenders. This move is also safe on block. There's also 2-1. Pretty good for range and poking distance. Not really used as much, but can be used for combo extenders if you guys like to use that for combo extenders. There's also forward 3 and forward 3-2, which is a very good low over or low mid. It catches a lot of people off guard, especially with the second hit being a delayed swing, which catches a lot of people off guard who doesn't see it coming. Very underutilized move, but in my opinion, a very underrated move as well. Very good. Forward 2, forward 3, forward 3-2. Pretty good string. Also, back 1 is extremely good. This is one of Kenshi's most popular strings when it comes to Sento stance, because it's a low startup, and once it's landed, it launches your opponent in the air, giving you the ability to combo or refresh Sento, which we'll get to eventually. But also, downside is, if opponent is blocking, it will leave you unsafe on block, meaning right now, my active frames, I'm negative 12, meaning my opponent can punish that move. So gotta always watch out for that. There is also back 2, one of my favorite overheads in the game. Very good for just, trying to stop people from blocking low, because I'm assuming you would want to open them up to hit them with this low, which is good. Back 2 is good, which actually can be comboed with certain ambush combos, which we'll get to as well. Forward 1-1-2 is pretty good for range. This poke is extremely good. Forward 1 is really good for poking, but it's a high move, obviously, which means it can be ducked, but it's a very good move for combo extenders and all that type of stuff. Same with forward 2. Forward 2 is an incredible mid as well. It's really good for just trying to shimmy people in case they're trying to block a grab or whatever you're trying to go for. It's an incredible move, and also ends in a low string too, which, if you have Sento stance, can be comboed into further combos, which is always amazing. Forward 4, one of Kenshi's best moves out here, armor breaks. This is a double hit right here, which means if your opponent tries to armor break, this is actually an incredible move to use whenever you're trying to, catch your opponent off guard. Right there, really good for just punishing armors. And yeah, this can catch people off guard, especially when it comes to just whenever you try, if you're ever put them in a Sento sandwich, it's good for that. For if you're trying to put them in a Sento sandwich, put them in a situation, because people will try to armor through your Sento sandwich, meaning if you throw this out, you'll definitely catch them lacking. Also, some pokes to go over. For down 1 is a pretty good poke, just a basic standard poke. Down 3 is also a pretty good poke as well. But the real highlight is down 4. Down 4, extremely good poke. Very good. Nice pushback and good range too. Really good for neutral. Highly recommend using a lot if you're trying to push your opponents out the way. If you can back up, you can maybe just pull this out. Maybe cancel into special if you're into that kind of stuff. And that'll just that'll. I do forget to cover normal Kenshi stance pokes as well. Same jigaboo, you already know. Down 3, down 4. It's pretty basic. It's pretty good. It's still viable. Still, it got some good distance. Nothing to complain about. But the main highlight is down 4 in Sento stance due to its nice range. And also just how nice the animation is. Now I do want to go over some specials with Kenshi, because Kenshi does have a lot of options for great combo extenders or just safety tools, such as, let's go with back forward 2. It's a soul charge attack, which is good for combo enders, or it's an armored wake up as well, which is very good for it's a mid combo wake up, or it's a combo or armor wake up. My fault. It's really good. It's a mid, meaning they can't just duck it like certain characters, and it's a very, very good. It's a knockdown, meaning you can't combo off it, unfortunately, but it's the most we're gonna get, unfortunately. There is also back forward 4, which is the soul push right here. Incredibly good move for for just keeping you safe on anything. This is mostly popular. It has incredible range, but also, well, I'm gonna show you the range. That covers almost full screen, which is a big deal. Like, let's see right here, it could probably hit him right here. It can hit your opponent from that far. This move reaches very ridiculously far. So if your opponents try running up on you, you can maybe back them up with this, or it'll hit them. It's a pretty good move. But also, best part about this is that this move right here keeps you safe on block no matter what, based on pushback and just your plus frames right after you pull it out. Right here. See, my block advantage is 9. My frames are 9. But on top of that, there's pushback, meaning even if, you know, if it wasn't safe, your opponent won't even reach you in time unless the character's probably like Osher or some shit. But either way, it wouldn't even matter. You have a lot of, you're just plus on block. That's safe. And it's really helpful for if you're doing reckless strings like 141, which is unsafe on block. You can always throw that out. Also, down forwards 1, also another safe move. Really good to pull out if you want to be safe on block. Really good right here. Keeps you safe. But it most likely won't be your turn anyways, unless your opponents, if your opponents your opponents are most likely going to take their turn back after pulling out this move. But it will keep you safe enough to you can at least block. But something you can do is that you can actually do something like this. And then micro duck, try to punish again. You already know. Just micro ducking is pretty much the meta with this game. With this move, you can definitely catch people off guard with the micro duck right here. Just a little micro duck, it'll definitely help because obviously they're gonna try to quote unquote punish with a high because that's mostly what their fast move would be. Right there. Back forward 3 is a very great combo ender or combo extender, but also very good for opponents who are trying to jump at you. You can catch them with distance. This has a good range, but on top of that, it's also just a combo extender. You can do a lot with this move. Very helpful. Extremely good move right here. Always good for combo extenders. And also just to get it started with Sento. It's the main component to help get Sento started. Also, projectiles, of course. We got the overhead soul a projectile, which can go from all sorts of ranges. You can go far. You can just go far, you can go mid, or you can just be up close, up and close, all sorts of shit. Amplified, making it very combo. You can combo with it, meaning if you do something like this, you can definitely combo off that. I missed, but yeah, you can totally combo off it, which is also an overhead, meaning if your opponent isn't ready for it, you can totally mix them up with a low overhead kind of thing. But very punishable on block. Well, actually, recently they did make it to where you can actually, where now they made it to where now it has pushback. If I can even, if I can even land this shit. They give this a little bit of pushback, but I'm pretty sure this is still unsafe on block. So obviously use at your own risk. Also, opponents can jump, and it will completely whiff, and it will leave you exposed to punishing, which happens to me a lot of times playing Kenshi. Also, another special to use with Sento stance Kenshi will be back forward 4, which now is a brand new move that came out that also switches you back to Sento stance or Kenshi stance, which is very good. But the best part about this is amplified is a armored, which is amazing, which is huge. Because before we didn't have that kind of defense, but now we have an armored that even helps gets us back into Kenshi stance, which is really great, very helpful, and honestly can't complain about that. And also down back 1 cancels, calls away Sento. Now if you miss the back forward 4, you are very punishable. You will actually be unsafe for a while. So watch out when you throw this move out. So if you want to call away Sento, if you want to take the safe route, stay as far as you can, call out Sento. Hey, this is Future Simeon here. I did fail to mention this move right here, Soaring Sento, aka down back 3. This is another great move in Sento stance, which allows combo starters or just best ways to do Sento combos with the spirit in hand. Amplified, you can actually extend combos, you can use it to refresh Sento. There's a lot of good use. I did notice that I failed to mention this move, so here it is now. And for the last move, which will transition to our next section, is back forward or down back 1, aka summoning Sento. Our favorite friend right here in the Mortal Kombat world. Right here. Which will, go to our next segment, aka Sento stance. Or we're going to learn about Sento, aka the Spirit. Sento is a character that can be controlled alongside Kenshi, meaning you can do all sorts of stuff back to back, back to back, back to back. Meaning you can make yourself completely safe, or you can keep pressures going for a long time. Sento is an incredibly good tool for Kenshi. So let's go over what Sento got. Sento 2 is a double swing mid. Very, very most used tool for Sento or for Kenshi mains. There's also Sento 1, which is just a high tap, but it's a really fast move with some decently good range. Sento 4 is a 3-swing move, which the first move being a high actually, but very good for either maybe combos or for pressures, depending on how you like to do your pressures. It's a knockdown as well. And Sento 3 is a mid launcher, which is very good, very incredible good range. It can reach pretty far. And obviously most common tool for combo extenders. Obviously, that covers everything for strings, specials, and Sento. So now let's get into the more advanced parts of this game, or of this character. So Kenshi is a puppet character, meaning his main game plan will be to pull out Sento. So we should learn some moves that will help you start up Sento's ability. Sento, how I like to play Kenshi is I like to figure out ways to activate Sento safely, because obviously you don't want to get disrupted while activating Sento. Now, thanks to the new nerf, they reduced his timer by 5 seconds, which is different, which is a huge impact, something that is pretty bad, but that's why you gotta take advantage of it now. Alright, here's some basic strings to learn with Kenshi and Sento to just activate Sento. So a popular one will obviously be 1-4-1 with a back forward 3, stand 4, call in Sento, aka down back 4 or down back 1. It's good. Just pull this out. It's a simple move. A lot of Kenshi's mains likes to use this. You can get it started that way. Another form people do, you can do forward 2-2, or not like that, forward 2-2 with this. That way, that works as well. Very good for Sento callouts. Those are just basic ways to call in Sento. There will be a lot more, which I'll present more once we get to the Kameo sections, because that's where the real juicy stuff will come in through. But that's some basic stuff you can use. Maybe same with this as well. If you like using that string, there's that too. Gets it started. And there's also be this, like if you ever back up and try to hit someone with this, you can actually confirm into back forward 3, which if I can do. And you can do it that way as well. In case your opponent's trying to poke or something, you can catch them lacking with the back 2 and then back forward 3. Also, whenever you ever reach Sento stance, your main goal is to land the down back 4, which is another special I did forget to mention, but your main goal is to definitely try to get this going, which instantly activates the sandwich, because Sento will be behind Kenshi, or let's say my opponent, and then there's me in the front. And this is the best position to be in when it comes to a Kenshi main, because they can't cancel out Sento because he is right behind the opponent, unless you have an attack like Storm Cell or maybe Gearus's armor. There's certain moves that can get away with this, but obviously not every character can do that. But it's a great position to be in versus Kenshi mains, because once you're in the sandwich, you can do all sorts of stuff, which I'll teach you how to do some of these combos, obviously. So now with the setups being gone, pretty much done being shown, I'll show you some Kenshi stances or some Kenshi Sento combos. So here's this string right here. Good 46%, very good combo. Here's a really basic combo to pull off, really good for beginners. Very good, gets you into a little Sento sandwich at 38%. Here's a more advanced combo, which is harder to pull off. Very tricky, but if you can pull it down, if you can nail it and get consistent with it, it could be extremely powerful. Right there, almost 50% just for that. Incredibly good combo, but very difficult. This is one of my favorite combos to pull off recently. In recent times, I've been using this a lot only because this will quickly put you in a Sento sandwich while giving you really good damage. And right here allows you to activate the Sento sandwich that way, which, since you're not using the animation of doing the teamwork special, you don't end up wasting time with the Sento meter. Here's another one as well. Little 40% right there can get you in a Sento sandwich. I kind of messed up a bit, but you're supposed to back up Sento as you do that last string. Here's a really good combo that you guys should definitely try learning. This is another tricky one, but also very helpful. So obviously, so that way your only options won't be a low. Try going for overheads as well. And this is a really good combo. One of my favorite combos to pull off. Extremely satisfying to pull off too. So here it is. It's a little 32%, but it's an overhead combo, which is definitely helpful to mix your opponents, because obviously your opponents will either catch on or just only block low. So obviously you need some overhead damage as well. Now for some corner combos that you guys might like. Here's this one that does a lot of damage. Little 50% right there in the corner as well, if you want to do in the corner as well, overhead. Little 40% overhead combo, good to have. Here's a low. Little 37%, really good. And now we're going to go over some Sento sandwich combos, because obviously most times you're going to end up in this situation where you're going to be in between the opponent. Obviously with Sento being in here, you got to take advantage of him being behind him. So here's one right here, overhead. Very good combo, only 30%. Really good though, still extremely fun to pull off. And here's a low version as well. And if you want, actually, you could end this with teamwork as well if you want that extra damage. You can also do it with overhead. Yeah, that gives you a 36%, so that's also good to do as well. Now that, let's say your Sento meter runs out. Now you got to figure out, how am I going to get this motherfucker back? Well, you have two options. It's either figure out a way to just go back to Kenshi stance, or find out a way to safely refresh Sento. Which, whatever you decide to do, my favorite option is to refresh Sento, because you want to keep this going, obviously. I mean, who wouldn't want to keep it going? That's your main game plan. But, so, there's a bunch of ways to go about it. So, if you want to do a low, just something like that. You can always just, no matter what, if you end it with a stand 4, you can call in Sento and the opponents will not be able to punish that. The thing that does suck is that unless you have a Kameo, you cannot combo over overheads, which I will get to. Obviously, we will cover most of this stuff again when we get to Kameos, but I'm just only showing you base Kenshi without cameos right now. There's also some stuff like if you get in a move, you can actually amplify, what is it called, down back 3. You can amplify down back 3, and you can use this to refresh Sento. Meaning, no matter if you land an opponent, do that. There you go. You can call in Sento one more time. Same with, you know, just no matter what you do. So if you want to do this, that works as well. Maybe even this works as well too. Just any way you can call in Sento again. Hey, this is Future Simeon again with another topic I gotta mention is pressure. Yes, so one of the main things about his game plan is the pressure. You gotta always just try to keep this pressure going when you're trying to mix your opponent, because obviously there's a good chance that you're gonna miss your mixes, and obviously you just gotta keep on figuring out how to do the pressure. Now, there's a good combo pressure that keeps you safe or makes your opponents not be able to armor. So there's this basic one which they could armor, which would be if you use Sento 2 along with your pressure. So there's your low, Sento pressure again, and Sento, your turn, Sento, your turn, Sento, that type of thing. But now there's this one that most pros would use, which is the best, and I'd recommend practicing, which will be Sento 4, which you can do shit like this. That's for if you want to do low, but also if you want to do some overhead too, you can do like stuff like this. Well, I kind of messed up. I can't lie, but so you can just do stuff like this, you know. Maybe fake a low, go overhead, do that, do it again, and just try again. It gets easy once you get used to this. But this literally makes it where you cannot, like, where the enemies cannot armor. Like, literally, they cannot armor. It's just because the amount of hits you're doing, there is practically no gap for your opponents to what's it called, to just armor. So this is really good to learn. So Sento 4, and then don't forget the poke on this string. So once you do, like, once Sento does his little chink chink chink, try to fill in a little poke in between that. So obviously, you know, boom, you just time it right there. You just like boom, then do your low, or you know, maybe just do your overhead. And the best part about this is that if that low lands, so let's say you do that, you can do this. Oh, let me just, you know, if this lands, you can just do that instead. Oh, well, it keeps on messing up. But if that low lands, you can do this. And there will be your combo there. And if the overhead lands, same thing. It's something you just gotta get used to. It took me a while to learn this because obviously it's not easy. You can't just learn this type of shit easily. But that's why you just gotta know this type of pressure. And then now I started to get warmed up. Now, a little disclaimer, if your opponent is in the corner of the room, so not corner of the room, corner of the map, obviously, so let me just push my opponents this way real quick. Obviously, if your opponent's in the corner, you can't really throw out this move because of just, you know, how no, because, you know, just throw you on the other side, because you're gonna want to keep your opponents cornered. So what you should do is, instead of just doing, you know, this, just instead just do this, just the normal full string. And of course, if you want to do overhead, that still applies the same way. And if you want to just use just normal strings, do not do this, just do the whole string right here, you know, keep them blocked on the corner. So that's all I can say for pressure. I say just practice it, get good with it, and also you do have to deal with some trial and error fighting opponents, because obviously I think the best teacher is fucking up in an online match. We all been there. Once you refresh Sento, you will be open. Meaning, yeah, you always gotta find a careful way to do this. Meaning, I mean, if you have a cameo that can help protect you, you can always do something like that. to protect yourself. But we'll get to cameos, which will be the next segment of the video, starting with Cyrax. I'm putting this as the first cameo, and this is more of an honorable mention, if anything, because Cyrax cameo did get nerfed a long time ago during the early stages of Mortal Kombat 1. Back then, Cyrax used to have the ability of, obviously, horizontal chopper. They changed it to where a lot of things just can't really work anymore, and I'll show you what I mean. The thing about Cyrax is that people used to use Cyrax to just keep themselves safe in combos, so whenever they do an unsafe combo, they can just throw this out and they'll push the opponent back and they won't punish, which can also be translated for you pull this out and you can call in Sento while you're doing that. Now, NRS did change this to where now if you try doing that, there's a good chance, well, see, I got it down this time. It's really buggy how it works, but it does not work if I try doing it like this, because it's either Sento comes out and Cyrax won't come out, or I mean, see, it's either he'll just go vertical or Sento just won't come out. They made this practically impossible to pull off. They making you just completely open. But before, Cyrax would be able to horizontally, you know, be able to just go off and you would be able to call in Sento safely. Now, this kind of does work here and there. You can kind of definitely do this for sure in some capacity, but it's still punishable. So that's why I wouldn't recommend Cyrax anymore. Now, Cyrax does have some cool moves, like you could use in the bomb setup here, which the thing is that I don't know how you would set this up, only because Cyrax bomb, like you can do a Cyrax bomb thing with like Sub-Zero because he has like a freeze, but it's hard to pull this off with Cyrax like Kenshi, because you got to find a good way to set this up, obviously. Obviously, I'm not good with this, but also it's because Kenshi doesn't really have a effective way of doing this. Like if you can somehow get it to do that, that would probably be OP, but I haven't found any way of doing it. Cyrax does also have this net meat piece, which is actually really good, but also the thing about that sucks is that you literally can't find any way to combo this anyway. Because, like, obviously this doesn't connect, this doesn't connect, you can't even pull it out, this won't connect, this won't connect, it just doesn't. The only thing that I found that does connect is stand 3 into this. That works, but that's if you even decide to use this. So there was that, which once you can do that, you can totally just do whatever. And the thing is, since this is in the air, you can't even do your little combo. Oh, maybe you could. Well, you know what? Maybe you could, actually. Maybe I'm wrong. Well, kinda. I mean, he still has a lot of fall off since he's been in the air for a while. But yeah, you can also use this as a projectile. So yeah, not saying that Cyrax is completely useless, but he's definitely someone I don't know if I would recommend using for cameo-wise. You can also do combos like this. Now for this next section of the video, this is Frost. AKA, I'd say one of the best cameos for Kenshi if you are a beginner. Very good for beginners, because this is obviously Frost is a beginner-friendly cameo. Now, Frost does have a lot of tools, like this low freeze, or this ice ball, which you can grab and mix your opponents with that, or there's an ice wall where you can corner your opponents with a Sento, or this incredible tool for backing up your opponents. So, how should we use Frost? Well, Frost can be good for mix-ups right there, because it's a low freeze. When you do this, you can call in Sento and do the combos that were listed earlier in the video. Which this is the best thing for a lot of beginner players, because a lot of players would probably just like to, just combo with this. So when it comes to Frost cameo, a lot of people will like to just throw it out like this. Mix it, maybe they wouldn't even know that that it's a low. Most people, when it comes to beginner levels, people will not see this coming because this comes out pretty fast. Also, it's even a ranged attack too. Or if you feel unsafe, like let's say you don't feel safe on block, let's say your opponent's about to block something, you can just throw this out. This is one of the best get off me kind of tools that any Kameo would have, all because there you go. You resetted the whole battle and now you don't have to worry about them getting up on your face right there because Frost just pushed them back. It is very good for whenever you are it's just mostly good for beginners. I don't know what else I could say about this. You can definitely throw this out. Wall. That means if you ever get them in the Sento sandwich, kind of stuck on this wall, there is actually ways to go about putting the frost wall, which I'll put up a video right now from earlier testing. Here's some frost combos you can throw out with frost. Right there. Right in a Sento sandwich, and you can just get it started like this. Just like that. One way to start up a Sento sandwich. Or, if you want, you can do shit like this. You can get it started like that too. Gets it set. So it's mostly just setup when it comes to stuff like that. Because the freeze does run out pretty soon, like quickly. But you can definitely, there's a lot of potential when it comes to this. The best thing about Frost Kameo is the fact that you could just throw out a little Kameo like this and just, you know, you get at least enough time to pull out Sento if you're doing that. Or if you can freeze your opponent while standing, you have the time to do a combo. Which timing is very annoying when it comes to transitioning between Sento combo from Kenshi combo. Because once you freeze your opponent, you gotta time your Sento 1 to make sure it times. Which I still can't figure out the timing for even after all these years. So this is really just some shit you gotta work with. How I used to go around this during my early days of playing Kenshi would be to just mix them while they're doing this and just get a restart. You can get an overhead in, or you can just do this, you know, just low, go low or overhead. And most times they'll just still fall for it and you'll get the combo and you'll get a reset. That's mostly what I can say for for Frost. Frost is a pretty good Kameo for beginners because you can it just helps you get it started with Sento easily. It kind of gives you a good way to practice with Sento for beginners. And also you do get 1,000 health. There's not really any, you know, health negativities or positivities. Just, you know, 1,000 health, solid Kameo. And you do have some other fun tools you can use like that. You know, you can throw this out whenever you can. I don't know, man. You can mix your opponent, maybe get your opponent to hold block so they don't avoid it, or you can get them to, you know, watch their feet. Which, if they're always constantly worried about lows, you got your overhead drop right here, which you can use to kind of mix them whenever they expect a low. And there's also this, which is pretty good too. If you can land this, well, if you can land this kind of move, well, you can get a whole Sento started just like that, just like how I did it. If you can, and you can probably most likely connect this to Sento. It's maybe you can accidentally get a Sento sandwich. It's really still a lot of experimental because it's actually really been a long time since I've used Kenshi Frost, because they did update Frost ever since I've used Kenshi Frost. You do have a lot of things you can work with Frost. That's what I'm saying, one of the best for beginners. That's some of the main focuses that he's good for. Now this Kameo Shujinko. Now you may probably not expect this to be on here, but I only put this on for one really good reason. And I know Shujinko could be a very advanced character to learn strictly because you do have to kind of memorize every move that he might have because you know every character, every time you fight an opponent, these sets of moves right here, the copied moves, are going to be different. Just like how, well, right now I'm fighting a Kenshi, so now I can mimic a Sento sandwich. I can mimic force push. I can mimic his moves pretty much. But one main reason, but that's not what we're going to talk about. For Shujinko, I want to talk about this move that's definitely worth noting for if you want to use Shujinko, or if you want to be using Shujinko. So, type this move right here is very fucking good, only because once you land it, you can straight up just call Sento. There you go. Instant Sento sandwich. Instant. You have the entire 10 seconds to do your sandwich right there. Shujinko is strictly good for setup, which means, you know, you can, whenever you land a move, get it started. That's his main good form, good use. Or if you want to mix your opponent, he does also have overhead. Now, this is also strictly based on who you're fighting against. So, like, if you're fighting like an Ermac, you can copy his little ground projectile, and you can get your opponent stuck, and you'll have a low mix-up. This actually really does strictly depend on who is your Kameo. But if you are a Shujinko main, I would definitely like to tell you, well, maybe you would love to try out Shujinko Kenshi. This move alone is already a really good thing. Once you get it, you can just get it started, and that's a huge advantage right there. Now, this is where some of the real tech can start coming in, and this is the more serious cameos I would recommend you more often than not, starting with Scorpion Kameo. So, well, for starters, Scorpion got a nice overhead, just got a complete overhead, which is something that Kenshi stance doesn't really have like that, which means you can do a mix-up and just get it started like that. You actually would have enough time to call in Sento after hitting the overhead, which is actually really fucking nice. But also, another thing that's really cool is now moves like this can actually be comboed after. Same with this as well. Because now that they were given bounce, they have that kind of ability. Oh, I missed that, but hold on. Okay, you gotta do mid, so you gotta do down Kameo. But that's some cool shit. So you can do shit like this. Call in. Easy Sento call in. But you can also, if you time it right, you can also just end up comboing it. You can actually get Sento sandwich going off of Scorpion up Kameo. You can actually figure out a bunch of stuff you can do with this. You can totally just get a whole Sento sandwich started because of that. Now I want to show you something that's also made this very good team. Now, if you ever go into Sento stance, usually you can't combo off this overhead, but you can, with the power Scorpion, you can now. Meaning you can get either a combo going or a Sento refresh going on Sento stance. Same with if you just do this. Instead of spending bar, I really missed that, wow. Well, instead of spending bar, you have this to work with to combo after, so you don't have to waste a bar to amplify and to extend the combo. That is really much I can show you about Scorpion, because that is mostly his use for Kenshi. He can help you get a Sento sandwich started more efficiently. You can get the sandwich within a combo started. You can totally also do overhead from Sento. You can just also do combo extenders plus a overhead that Kenshi never had originally, that you can also use it, call in Sento. There you go, free summon right there. But it's also worth noting he does have this move where it just burns your opponent. So if you're trying to chip out damage, or whatever, that's the one way to do it. It's good. That's just good to know. And also, you do have a really good form of defense, which would be this back armor Kameo thing. Which, by the way, if you are in a Sento sandwich yourself and you have this is one of the best ways to get out of a Sento sandwich, only because this just pulls the opponent back. So Scorpion's really good as well. I'd say you just got to get used to the pulling out the you know, this move out here and just timing it with your jumps. But it's something you can definitely get good at just by, you know, just by doing it, or just by just practicing it. You know. Another cameo I would totally recommend for beginners or for intermediate Kenshi mains is Striker. At all. You can just straight throw out this, you're safe. Because striker grenades will stop it from happening. Even from distance if you want to go far. Even if you just want to do this, you can make yourself safe on anything as well. It's not even just for Sento, but you can just do something like that. If your opponent gets caught by the low, you can also hit him with this. There you go. You get a whole Sento summon just like that. A safe Sento summon, and you can just get it started before he gets up. Here's a cool little Sento resummon, safe resummon without in Sento stance without striker, or without, you know, having to worry about your opponents getting. You can get a whole Sento resummon without having to worry about the opponent. You can just get a whole Sento resummon into a sandwich without in the same combo, all in the same combo, thanks to Striker. Really cool. Same with if you ever do a overhead, you can totally do this. This does require you to unfortunately call in Striker before doing it, which maybe could alert the opponents to start blocking overhead if they see this coming. But that's also another way you can overhead combo with this back too. Also, worth noting, if you're in normal Sento stance, if you can't get in anything and you just want to call in Sento, you can always just call in Striker and just refresh Sento. Now you got it started again, or whichever way possible. Especially if they're on block mode, just, you know, like I said, this just keeps you safe. It's also worth noting that Striker does have an overhead, and also Striker has a low that he can throw out, which just gives him mix. And also he has a full screen little grab right here, which it's not that useful, honestly. Can't see much use to it, only just to throw him off for like a little bit, but it really won't do much for you. That's Striker for you. Striker's incredibly really good for whatever, it's just for safety reasons, just keeps you safe on a lot of things. It's a kind of, it's just good just to keep you safe when you're trying to summon Sento, but also very good for intermediate players to even advanced players. Advanced players use this cameo. This is currently the more common cameo to use with Kenshi, and it's just Striker is just, you know, Striker is just really easy to use for beginners, and that's all, you know. And also, I would like to show another combo which is amazing. Just like that, almost a 60% combo with Striker, all because of the back cameo pistol. This pistol is definitely OP, because this pistol is also another safe way to just call in Sento for free. This is straight a free Sento call. You can't, like, literally, unless the opponent is jumping, you can't really avoid these bullets unless you're blocking. Which, if the opponent is just blocking it, just take the time to just pull out Sento and just get it started. You know, fuck, man, just fuck around. Maybe just you know, just jump around. Maybe just call in Sento, go here, and just jump in the sandwich yourself, you know. The Striker is just very good for Kenshi. I would definitely recommend him if you want to start using Kenshi. He's definitely someone that is really good for beginners. Now for the cameo that I highly recommend for every single Kenshi starters. If you're going to start playing Kenshi for the first time, Sub-Zero is literally the best choice for everything. Definitely been the cameo that carried me throughout the early stages of Mortal Kombat 1, and it's just one of Kenshi's literally best cameo. You would literally just, it's like you would see every Kenshi player rocking Sub-Zero cameo, and for good reason, because Sub-Zero has a lot to offer when it comes to Kenshi. Like this. This alone is already a huge W because you know you can just avoid projectiles. This negates all sorts of projectiles. Same with this move, the freeze. Obviously, it's the mid now, but it still has more range, or has more range than, what's it called? Frost. You have a bigger aura when it comes to that. The only negative thing to this is that it's not a low, and it's not long range. It's not full screen, but it means you can easily land it if you're. You can, if you freeze them in the air, you can actually do that to get it into a center. Something Sub-Zero cameo definitely has that it's also amazing. Just like Frost, he does have a move that's extremely safe on block. So if you're going to pull this out, you can use this to keep yourself safe on block, and it will just push your opponent. They cannot punish you after that. It's very good. It's good pushback and very good for that. You also are given a ice freeze, which is amazing. And this move, which is for some reason safe, but you can throw yourself at the opponent, and it's actually, you have enough frames to just keep your turn actually when you do this. And that's just crazy. Whenever you're in Sento stance, if you want to opponent freezing, you can refresh and even just get the combo going again. Keep it going. You can actually just keep the combo going from that freeze after resummoning. That's the beauty about Sub-Zero. He, just like Frost, he allows you to just continue combos, and also he just allows you to just, well, you know, just freeze your opponent, and this will count as one combo. So you don't have to worry that much about setups, because you can just do a whole combo that would give you the big damage, you know? Sub-Zero is definitely an incredible cameo, and I would definitely recommend just trying him out if you want to start for the first time. Now for my favorite cameo of all time, Movado. The one, above all, if you are a longtime Kenshi main, I highly recommend trying out Movado. And I'm going to leave a video in the description, which is another full guide. It's strictly only focused on Movado, but Movado is definitely one of the greatest cameos ever for Kenshi, because the amount of shit you're allowed to do because of Movado is crazy. So this is what I like. You can straight up be ballsy. You can straight up be reckless as hell. And that's not even just it. Now I'll show you that. So obviously, if your opponent is blocking, let's say your opponent is blocking, you can just call in Movado and boom, you get a free Sento summon. Oh, what is it? You catch your, oh, so you catch your, if you catch your opponent not blocking, well, instead of calling in Sento, instead of calling in Sento while doing that, before you peep it, instead just do down forward one, which means you can do this. So either way, they'll be caught, and you can just hit them with that. Very fucking good. And also, you know what's also something you can just do? This move right here that's extremely safe on block. If this lands, too bad, you get a free Sento summon. Just fucking brilliant. Oh, what's that? You can get a fucking full screen call right here. Full screen right here. Like, there's no reason to not try out Movado. You can do this. You know, just an extra damage in. Or you can just call in from just a combo. Instant setup. It's just a brilliant, amazing how much you can do with Movado. Or, you know, let's say you need that extra damage, just throw in that little low right there. Or at the end of a fatal blow. Or at the end of maybe a grab. Let's say you want to do a grab right here, you can, or let's say, you know, Or if you want, do a little grab, you can do a whole knockdown. Or even best part, this Kameo can grab combo. You just time that, and there you go. You get a whole Sento sandwich off a grab. Off a damn fucking grab. Like, it doesn't get any better than this, but it doesn't even stop there. Oh boy, it doesn't even stop there, man. You don't even stop there. On top of that, you get low. You get that overhead conversion. Or you can just do this. Well, you can just get a free extender without having to spend bar. You know? How would you not like that? Just to extend bar. You can do a lot of things with Movado. And that's all I could show you, you know? I mean, that's really all there is to show. When it comes to cameos, that's pretty much the most I can show you. And yes, there's a lot more options to show with cameos. These are the ones that I feel like has some specific use with Kenshi, of course. Because, yeah, you can use Kenshi with Motaro or Darius or anyone else. But this is always just based on preference. If you're a big Kenshi fan or you play Kenshi all day, I would only just suggest you just pick out a cameo you like based on your favorite character. That's how I even stumbled across Movado. I've always wanted to try Movado, and, well, I somehow made him work with Kenshi. I would always encourage you to just pick out whoever the hell you want. But, obviously, longtime Kenshi fans, if you want to try a new cameo, if you want to try Movado, please go for it. You will definitely enjoy playing him. He is very brain-dead fun to play. He has a lot of just freedom when it comes to that shit. Anyways, if you want to see this all in action, please, just check out my channel. I mean, my whole video has lots of Kenshi, just gameplay. I've played sets of Kombat League here and there. I've done a full-on Movado cameo guide if you want to go more into detail with the Movado guide. But he has a lot of just options. I mean, even here's a bonus thing. You can just call it in, grab. Right there, just another grab, just like that. You have a lot of possibilities, but like I said, just choose what you like, you know. I'd recommend Sub-Zero for beginners, Movado for intermediate, Kenshi main, same with Striker. Shujinko's for more the advanced players who really know Shujinko like that. Scorpion, I'd say definitely for intermediate to advanced as well, only because, you know, you don't have that much of a defense when it comes to stuff like that. And, you know, it's just like, yeah. Obviously, my favorite cameo is Movado, only because I could just pull this shit out, do that. And also, I forgot to mention, it's worth mentioning, yeah, Movado has this move back here, which could go full screen, which can kind of go as like a way to just line up the screen. Anyways, that is my Kenshi guide. Hope you guys enjoy whatever you got here. Hope you learned something from this video, because I know I've enjoyed making this video. A lot of Kenshi mains might want an updated video when it comes to this new patch that came out, this new thing that, you know, this new little feature, this little new, you know, just his new buffs or nerfs, his new change. And season, you know, this game's over, game's life cycle's over. So hopefully you guys learned something, and hopefully I'll see more Kenshis out there. Because, you know, man, Kenshi isn't that OP, you feel me? You know, we gotta rule the world, you feel me? The Yakuza. And, you know, just hopefully you guys learned something from this, alright? Like, comment, subscribe to the channel if you're new. Consider dropping a like. Let me know in the comments if you need any help. I will definitely love to help out. I'm open for any sets, 1v1 sets or anything. Maybe I can specify more specific things, because I know I kind of speed ran through some of the cameo sections, because like I said, cameos is definitely a preference part, but I've definitely shown some use that every cameo that I've shown can do in some way or form. And I would definitely just, you know, recommend choosing out what you like. Anyways, enjoy the video. I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe. Goodbye. And 6 Erican, if you're watching this shit, I want the fucking smoke. 1v1 me, motherfucker, because I'm the superior Kenshi. I will fuck your shit up, 6 Eric.
Bitch, I slide down till it's dry. Oh my god, hit this dog. Oh, see,
a cribbing star. In the night trap with their eyes. You got 800, bitch, that's ours. Finna go spend it on a new guitar.